Use the table of integrals to evaluate the following integral. Here we have the integral of sine of 2 theta divided by the square root of 5 minus the sine of theta d theta. And so the first thing we want to do is convert that sine of 2 theta, which is a double angle, into a trig identity. So we know that the sine of 2 theta is the same thing as 2 times the sine of theta cosine of theta divided by the square root of 5 minus the sine of theta times d theta. Okay, but now that we've done that substitution, now we can go ahead and apply the u substitution. So what we're going to do is we're going to let u equal the sine of theta, and so therefore du is going to equal the cosine theta d theta. So now let's go ahead and then write our integral and then use our substitution. So we have 2 times the sine of theta cosine of theta divided by the square root of 5 minus the sine of theta d theta. So we can factor out the 2, the constant. Okay, so we know that the sine of theta is u, and then that's going to be divided by the square root of 5 minus u. And we know that the cosine of theta d theta is du. And so therefore there is our integral, and now we're going to go to the table of integrals to find the similar one that we're going to use for that. So come over here, we can see that 55 represents that integral. So we're going to go ahead and use 55. So there is 55. Okay, and what do we know about u? Well, we know that u is the sine of theta, and then we got to figure out what is a and then what is b. Well, a represents 5, and b is the constant in front of u, which is -1. And now we're going to go ahead and then evaluate this. So we have 2 over 3 times b squared, which is -1 squared, times parentheses b, which is -1, times u, which is the sine of theta, minus 2 times a, which is 5, times the square root of a, which is 5, minus b, times u, which is the sine of theta, plus c. So now let's go ahead and then simplify a little further. So we know that if we distribute the 2 to the numerator, we end up with 2 times 2, which is 4, divided by 3 times -1 squared, which is +1, and that's 3. And then we have negative sine of theta minus 10 times the square root of 5 minus the sine of theta plus c. And then the last thing we need to do is factor out the negative sign. So if we factor out the negative sign, we have -4/3 times the sine of theta plus 10 times the square root of 5 minus the sine of theta plus c, and therefore there is our result.